Good afternoon, Charlotte. Welcome back to North Carolina, and welcome back to the Charlotte Convention Center, where all of the incredible Halo Infinite is going down on our main stage. And of course, we do have wonderful booths here as well, because fans are funneling in. They're here for the perilous journey that is the championship bracket, which of course starts on Saturday. So day 2 here at the final major of the season is going to bring so much to the table. It actually already has this morning, and I cannot wait to talk all about it. My name is Lottie Van Prague. I'm going to be desk hosting for the remainder of this weekend, joined by 2 amazing analysts, and I'm very excited to have you once again on the desk snipe down. Welcome to day number 2. Tony, why not be casting an absolute legend in his own right? Fellas, day number 2, Saturday here at Charlotte. Wow, what a morning. I mean, I was literally getting ready, watching all of the games that were happening and just trying to basically have everything on a screen at once. But my eyes could not be taken off some of our open bracket teams who are really starting to put the work to some of the best that we have here. Eric, we're going to talk about the upset a bit later on, but how are you feeling about day 2 and especially what we saw this morning?
I tell you what, I didn't need my morning coffee this morning when I heard Mindfreak took out Optic. It was one of those, I was talking to the TSM boys, Talik and Manny, and it was just hilarious, my reaction. I was like, this is the most absurd matchup I've ever heard, and then they go on to win their entire pool 3-0. So, I mean, I don't know if we're just severely underestimating them. Optic may have underestimated them. We'll talk about that. I got a couple points I'd love to hit on, but yeah, pretty insane.
Oh, don't worry. I'll let you hit on them. Tony, yesterday, though, day number 1 pool play, honestly, really good stuff out of the very best that we have. Seeds kind of worked out the way that they were supposed to. There was a couple of hiccups from some of our teams, but smooth sailing, so to say. A couple teams I was kind of surprised with that didn't really bite the bullet early on here this weekend were Envy. I was hoping for a bit more from Envy here. Going up against Space Station Gaming, we made a real big hoorah about it on the desk, and I think everybody was expecting them to be lights out, if not, honestly, taking that series. How are you feeling about day 1?
Yeah, I mean, in Pool D, you know, Envy definitely had a capability of finishing out first place in their pool. And meanwhile, on top of that, you know, as much love was showing all the international teams like the Akaves, the Majins, you know, one team that kind of stands out to me is Luminon. Luminon did not step up to the occasion, honestly. You let Cloud9 and FaZe sneak past you, and now you're in a bad spot in the elimination bracket.
Yeah, I've got to say, you're just looking right now at your champions across this season on our roadmap, and you're looking at Optic Gaming, who had a 2-peat here. We're searching for that 3-peat, but of course, Shopify Rebellion squeaked that one out. We're into our last major here, and it's funny looking upon all these trophy lists, because Optic Gaming, once again, in the fashion that it happened to them previous, they have dropped down early on. They are fighting for their life, and they're facing Shopify Rebellion here again in the first round. This is absolutely insane. Snipe Down, I have to ask you about, you know, the kind of breakdown at the beginning. What happened versus Mindfreak? How are you feeling about this real early hiccup again from Optic Gaming?
Yeah, I'm starting to think that they just want to play Shopify in round 1, and obviously that's not the case, but they have won tournaments after facing them early on. And there is something that I learned. Apparently Lqgend was the only one there warming up before their series versus Mindfreak. So I don't know if maybe they just slept in or what was going on. That was some words going around, but clearly it affected them not getting in that practice, and you know, we'll see what happens going into the series, because this is a big one and there is no mistakes to be made.
There is no mistakes to be made here. You literally have one safety net, and as soon as you fall into it, that is it. You cut a hole in it, you're going through, unfortunately going home. Looking across our pools here, this is exactly what happened yesterday, and as you can see, the spots have been filled by open bracket teams. They've been battling all morning long, and Mindfreak, they managed to do the impossible. They're the top of Pool B. I literally,
so insane.
It's the weirdest thing to see, but also the most epic thing to see. Shout out ANZ, shout out Barcode also coming back, barking his way through here, because I've got to say, I'm so impressed. I think it's really difficult when you're looking at teams that are coming from across the globe. You are not as familiar with what they are capable of. They don't get the practice against North America, and why not Mindfreak? They've always been around. They have had a really great history in Halo and in Halo Infinite, but I think to be peaking at the right time, again, I told you we'd be talking about that once again. This is perfect. This is exactly what you want to see if you are a Mindfreak fan and you're an ANZ fan as well. 3-0 in top of Pool B with Optic Gaming, previous champions twice through. That's pretty epic stuff. How are you feeling about those lads in that roster?
Yeah, definitely want to give a huge shout out to Mindfreak, the most interesting team that we have going into championship bracket. Half the team on mouse and keyboard, half the team on roller, and I want to give a shout out also to everybody from international play. I want to give some love to Wakabe. I want to give some love to Majin as well. Even Luminon, even though we didn't see you hit second or first seed in Pool C, we did see you're going to be in elimination bracket. Honestly, international competition is tough right now.
It is incredibly tough. They really did show up. I mean, they have been showing up time and time again, and it's been phenomenal to see. Let's see how far they actually can go here, because here is the championship bracket. We have the upper, the lower, of course, the safety net here, which is just insane. I mean, obviously, Shopify Rebellion versus Optic Gaming happening right at the top of that upper bracket. This early on, one of them will be going down. One of them is bowing down to that lower bracket and then potentially on the ropes to bow out of the competition. That is insane to think. You will obviously gonna, put everything in one basket on one of those to make it through. You don't want to meet them in the lower bracket, so I do actually feel kind of sorry for a couple of teams that will be meeting them there. But Slimedown, when you're looking across this, what are you most excited for other than that kind of crazy first round matchup against Shopify and Optic?
I mean, truthfully, every one of these matches I feel could go either way depending on how the teams come out. I think, Space Station, Cloud9 has their opportunity to take out a Space Station that we've been talking about has been weak. Envy still got a decent matchup against FaZe. They would obviously prefer the Cloud9 matchup had they won their pool and took out Space Station. And then Mindfreak versus TSM. Those are, I have no idea where that's going to go. I'm picking Mindfreak for that. I would love to see the momentum carry forward. Every one of these series is going to be absolutely electric, and I think these are going to be some of the best first round matches we've seen.
I cannot wait, and actually I can't wait that much that we're going to go straight to game. Let's head on over to the casters. It's going to be the first one on the main stage, boys, and it's a big one. Walshy and Clutch, I hope you're ready for Optic versus Shopify. It's lining up green in here, and I cannot wait to see what happens.
Dave, I'm ready for this. I know you are. And dinner is served early on Saturday. We got Shopify versus Optic once again. Winners round one. Optic slip up in pools and now immediately get thrown against the team you'd think that they would be finding in the grand finals later on this tournament. I gotta ask, what are you thinking of this Optic team as they woke up slow on this Saturday, once again getting fed to the wolves of Shopify Rebellion in bracket play?
I mean, in the history of Halo, anytime we've had a dynastic team who've just dominated throughout the seasons, they haven't fallen in these ways. You haven't seen these early pool play losses. You haven't seen them lose to an open bracket team like this. So it's just confusing to me to see this mixed results. They have the highest of high ceilings, but seems like their floor also is a little lower than I expected to be.
And it's always Shopify that kind of find themselves tasked with the bracket that doesn't really favor them as Optic continuously. This is the third time this year Winners Bracket 1 has featured many of our grand finals so far throughout this year. Both of our champions so far throughout this year. Shopify's got to be sitting there thinking to themselves, can you guys just figure it out?
We got to do this again? Can't you guys all do something different here? What's going on?
But that
it almost feels deliberate at this point, they're saying.
That being said, Shopify have gotten the better of Optic in Winners Bracket Round 1 both times it has happened up until this point. When these two teams play, ladies and gentlemen, this series usually goes the distance. These two teams have played 11 times this year. The series, the map tied at 29 apiece across both of these two teams. And if you're in this venue, I don't know what you're doing if you're not sitting down watching this one. This is the series we've all been wanting to see, and we get it early.
Yeah. You're not sitting down watching this, you should be standing up watching this.
Yeah.
As Wes said, the games between these teams are tied 29 apiece in their series. However, the series score tells a different story. 7-4 in favor of Rebellion.
Yeah, here we go, and it's Frosty we're going to kick this one off with. Optic Gaming fans, if you're in the crowd right now, you need to wake your team up because they've had a slow Saturday to this point, but it can all turn around with this best of 5. Frosty with the S7, going bottom mid, can't hit the no-scope. The nade does some damage, but not enough to take down Renegade, and now Renegade finds himself with a snipe in hand. Roll 2 in his face, can't hit the shot. Roll 2 finds a double kill, the S7 in his hands, and it will be Shopify that look like they're in a prime position to get Royal 2, a camo and a snipe. But Bound has something to say about that. Formal spawning small window will sandwich Roll 2, and actually Optic may be able to get that camo, but it's Cykul who's found the hill.
And it's always that tough start at the beginning here of live fire. Do you go for the camo, or are you going to be able to roll that advantage into a longer hill time, or do you just grab the hill right away? Well, Cykul doing everything right by scrapping up this time.
Yeah, there's been 6 kills in this game. It's already about to be 1-0. Cykul, the only player that pushed green from Optic, actually taken down. So Cykul caps his hill. It's a perfect first hill for Shopify as it rotates the tower. Optic are going to have an opportunity here to get back in this game with the tower set up. Formal found that camo snipe, and now he has to do work to get his team back in this.
He has a healthy amount of ammo as well. 5 bullets, that's going to be enough to get a good setup here going on over at the tower. Able to clear out Frosty for that very first kill. Can he find the next one? It's going to be LastShot.
LastShot does take down the hill player, but Formal still with that camo in the snipe. Gets stuck by LastShot. LastShot finds 2. Formal's got to be a little irritated on that, but Renegade with the S7 is exactly what the doctor ordered for Optic fans.
Yeah, we're going to see he's now going to hold the top tower, and nobody contesting that top center lane. That makes things much more predictable for anyone on Optic. They know they're either going to come from dummy side or they're coming from Nest.
Let's see how locked in Renegade is early on this Saturday. 2 players coming up the tower. There's no chance for him. He gets a small window to hit a shot, misses that shot, and with that, loses his life. Frosty finds another kill as well. 3 go down for Optic. Shopify have broken the setup pretty easily from Optic, and now we'll start to get progression on the second point.
And I love seeing this energy out of Frosty. You saw him win that fight. You can see him mouth something to the effects of sit down as he out-BR'd Formal.
3 members of Optic push green to get Frosty out of that position. A lot of information given to the rest of Shopify. Can the rest of the team hold this setup for tower? Doesn't look like it. As Bound picks up 2 in the kill feed, it is all 4 going down. Frosty the first one to spawn, but Optic break that setup immediately as well, and they'll continue progression. Already over 50%. Get this back to a 1-1 score. As slow as you started, Optic starting to get on their feet.
And look at the score lines across the board here. Lqgend, still not killing the board, but most assists, has 5, which is the rest of his team combined. I love the fact that he's not playing too different, though. He's just post up near Nest, saying, I'm still going to land on my shots, hold this up, and try to keep Shopify out of the hill.
Shopify break the hill. Frosty with camo and snipe this time around. We saw Formal with this opportunity. Now Frosty with the same power-up, power weapon combination. So little time for Optic to get back on their feet and try and break this setup before Shopify can take a 2-0 lead, and they have to go through Frosty with camo snipe in order to do so. There's 2 players pushing towards Nest. One's already snuck around back tower. The camo not going to be part of the equation anymore as it runs out. Frosty with the shots gets a double, does trade, but in the meantime, the rest of Optic, Lqgend himself, has gotten the hill, and although he doesn't have a kill, that is major feat in that hill to get Optic right back in this.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, if you're a Shopify fan, you have to say, great job, we're shutting down Lqgend. You gotta do it good. But on the other hand, you're saying, wait, we're tied 1-1 and Lqgend hasn't even gotten a kill yet. Wait until he wakes up and starts going off.
If you can process that level of information while all of this is going on, that would be impressive. But Shopify get a clean wipe as the hill rotates into house now. Cykul gonna be the first man in front of the Shopify Rebellion setup here. He's gonna get taken down. 2 actually go down. Frosty and Cykul both lose their lives. The player in the hill for Shopify by himself. It's going to be LastShot as Roll 2 trying to anchor from green, trying to get some damage for LastShot to capitalize on. But both him and Roll 2 go down in a staggered respawn from Cykul and Frosty. Optic all 4 up and have a perfect setup of their own, but they have to play perfect here if they want this hill.
Couldn't tell if Royal 2 was not QTing because he was getting greedy and trying to finish off that fight, or he didn't want to get the spawns all over at green and get stuck in that position. Either way, didn't pan out in his favor, and they got this next push to go through, and still a little bit of time.
Optic trying to crawl back in hill number 3, and Renegade hits a couple of body shots with the snipe. Finds himself 2 by himself. It's Roll 2 who stands alone on the map, gets in the hill, and this will be Shopify taking the lead once again, 2-1 here shortly.
That's going to be the second hill for Shopify. Looking strong, looking good. When we're looking at the kills across the board, pretty much even for all these members of Shopify. The only one that's positive right now is Frosty with a positive 2. So slays neck and neck between these 2 squads.
Roll 2 trying to get eyes on that camo, but Renegade just tiptoes around his sight line right there, able to get away with that camo. And now, although Royal 2 is able to play big door here with the snipe, Renegade's got the camo. He's going to try and get up close and personal. And look at this. I love this from him. If he can get some initial damage from his team, that's his sign to go.
Yeah, and last time when we saw that secondary hill being captured,
this.
It was all because of Renegade really pushing through to that side. It was Renegade slipping behind in the mud. You saw Frosty didn't catch that timing last time. Second time Renegade makes a flank, once again undetected.
Beautiful trigger discipline from Renegade right there. Just a heads-up play to clear out all of green. Repulse, camo stick, working to his advantage as well. LastShot did see him, but too little too late. He didn't know he had all the util in the world to play around, and Renegade takes down LastShot to help Optic almost guarantee this 4th hill.
Look at this. Renegade just finds so much time over here at back green. They're not comfortable just leaving him back there. LastShot doing a little no-scope with the snipe,
A little
but
double
it's
back.
a little late here on this hill. I'm curious to see if we're going to see Shopify try to commit to this and grab it, or just go for a bit more slays and set up their hill number 5.
Well, the hill's not going to move until Optic get in, and so Shopify kind of left without an answer outside of try your best to come back in this, and if you can pull that off, that would be a deflating experience for Optic Gaming to go through. There is one player, I believe, still at tower. LastShot on the prowl. LastShot hits the first body shot. The second one is true as well. And this kid, when he hits up, he does not miss. And right now, he is the player to watch with the double body there. One player of Optic gets feet in the hill. You got to get him out fast. LastShot decides to drop, not where you want to be with the S7, but can LastShot make it work? And a body shot on the Formal with the beautiful shots to suppress LastShot. It's going to take him out. 2 members go down for Shopify. Here come Optic Gaming to tie the game right before Shopify could go up by 2 hills.
Yep, looks like Legend's going to scrap up the last remaining time in that hill. We got ourselves a tie game, Wes. Next up, top center hill.
2 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock, so you can guarantee that time probably not going to be a problem in this game. It's a first to 4, we're going to call it, as Formal posts up and does what Formal does best. Rip faces from a posted position as he finds that first pick. Another body shot under Roll 2. Roll 2 is going to repulse up into Formal's teammate. Good comms will get Roll 2 taken down. Roll 2 and Renegade, the first 2 players to die on this set. The battle for camo is where everyone on the map for Shopify is focused. Optic Gaming don't send the same amount of resources there as they prioritize the hill, and we'll see who gets the benefit, who benefits the most from that decision.
Yeah, I feel like on the top center hill, it's hard to argue not grabbing that scrappy time. It's such an easily contestable hill from either platform. So we're going to have to see if Shopify can make up that gap, but Optic scrapped up so much, they're about 70% on this hill number 5.
That's a beautiful read from Cykul. So many times you see that player from Cuts get a back smack, get so much free damage on the hill player before he's able to react. But Cykul, with heads-up situational awareness, able to get a melee. It's traded out immediately, and he doesn't even have to pay for it with his life. And now look at the progression, Dave. Shopify have gotten right back in with the use of this camo.
Yeah, I like that. And also that pressure that you saw Royal 2 and Frosty trying to push on green, but ineffective there as every member just cleared out of the top center. It's going to be Optic trying to scrap up this last little bit. Can Bound dodge these nades? Yes, he can.
They get steps in from the repulse up. It's Cykul. Cykul repulses up. He gets 2. It's a double for Roll 2 as well, and that's going to do it. They're going to get the hill all 4 down for Optic Gaming. The hill will go to Shopify from a miraculous last-second play from Cykul.
Something about counting chickens before they're hatched. My apologies, all you viewers out there.
LastShot
I had no
counts
idea
as
Cykul
chickens.
had the flank of the century up through the vent. I didn't see anyone near sandbags in a position to contest that.
If we're trusting anyone to count chickens, I'm trusting LastShot. Everyone knows he's got chickens at home, and he can count those chickens to the very last second. 3-2, Shopify take the lead. Roll 2, you can tell time is not going to become a factor. They want this 4th point. Optic coming from the big door situation. Roll 2 forced out of the hill. Multiple members now back green from Optic. Roll 2 with the side kick in hand, able to find Bound, and that's going to open up the floodgates as Renegade goes down as well.
Yeah, still not certain about his big door over here, but now they've got Cykul open out. The only real risk is now someone like Legend, who snuck on over towards the pillars to get that snipe pick off.
He might have started.
And he's warming up a bit more.
He might have started slow, but this is the exact opportunity you expect Legend to take advantage of. He's going to have a player back green, but knows that there's white wall pressure coming as well. Roll 2 taking down Legend before he can do any more damage with that snipe is a massive kill for Shopify. This hill narrowly in Shopify's progression right now, but look at how Optic are making this scrappy. They're buying time. They get feet in the hill to contest LastShot. A frustrating death from LastShot as he gets overwhelmed by the rest of the green wall. And now Optic have control of the hill, so everything that went right for Shopify at the start of this hill erased. Optic have an opportunity to tie this game.
Yeah, Optic trying to tie this one up, and these teams not playing it slow whatsoever. These teams can play it about as fast as anyone else when things start to go in their advantage. So we're not going to be seeing any sort of overtime in this scenario. This is going to be going over to one of these teams soon, whether it's going to be Shopify closing out this game 4-2 or Optic bringing it to a crucial Hill 7.
Frosty no scope, headshots, Formal, and hits him again in a second. He comes off respawn. Formal had Quantum the first time around, couldn't even Quantum out. Frosty is canceling Formal out of the equation for the end of this game. This is going to be Shopify's hill.
very interested to see where that first grenade landed. Did that land all the way on the scoreboard there from Frosty? I can't believe I've seen players throw predictive nades from that
Oh my
far
God,
away, just
somehow,
prepping it.
some way, Bound gets into the hill. You know he's a fast player, and Bound is doing Bound things again. He gets feet in the hill, he gets another kill to his name, and he's gonna tie this game up for Optic Gaming. When you think Frosty's done enough, Bound answers back.
One of the fastest, if not the fastest player in the game when he's G-sliding across the map.
How did he get
Somehow close that gap quick enough to just contest it. Now Shopify, luckily, not crumbling just yet. They're all the way over at tower. You didn't see Frosty overcommit, try to desperately kill that person in green. He didn't have a chance. He didn't have the grenades. Instead, setting up for this final hill.
This is where these series are decided. It's the close games and the differences that players make at the end of these close games that really make the difference in these series right now. It looks like Shopify able to get almost halfway progression. Optic all coming off respawn right now, and they have got to go. Sniper is coming up, and you know everybody wants that S7 in their hands.
Yeah, they're gonna go for this snipe. They're gonna try to get this sort of control before jumping this hill. You're not gonna see Royal 2 leave this tower unless you see like an all 4 down scenario or a 3 down scenario, and he knows he can grab that.
Look at where
Want
Frosty-
to make sure that they just keep this map control first.
Frosty forcing Optic to try and pay attention to him. Meanwhile, the hill's on the opposite side of the map. Frosty has so much space for Shopify. He's gonna say, they're all spawning green, boys. Check nest. Frosty's got everything else under control. Camo is coming up as well, but it's not even gonna be a part of the equation, as LastShot with feet in the hill will score the final point, and it is Shopify that take game one, 4-3. It's as close as it gets, ladies and gentlemen, and if that is a sample for what we are in store for this best of 5. This is going to be an absolute banger to kick off championships on Saturday, I should say.
Yeah, no kidding. You're used to, when you see these two teams battling out, you're used to seeing them in the finals.
And we
I guess
very
you could
may
make an
well.
argument for the 2025 season of how often we've seen Optic fall to second in pools and play Shopify Rebellion, first time in pools, first round. But these two teams so evenly matched. We now just have it to a, when we go to the game score, it's Optic taking 29 games, Shopify Rebellion winning 30 games. These teams literally as close as you can possibly be in skill, and they're both at the peak of the mountain.
Yeah, that game went back and forth. It was Shopify in the lead, Optic tie it up. Shopify in the lead, Optic tie it up. I really can't wait to watch the rebroadcast and see how Bound was able to get into that hill before it was captured, the 6th hill, right before hill 7. I don't know how Bound got feet in there, and what he did after was absolutely miraculous.
I've been confused those last few hills. I've been confused all day. I mean, on hill number 5, you see Cykul somehow get through when I thought Bound was going to capture it. Hill number 6, I thought Frosty was going to capture it. Today, I woke up, I thought it was October 4th. It's pretty much December 25th with the kind of gameplay that we're seeing.
This might be the best Halo Infinite as of yet, and what these teams have in store to end this year is going to be nothing short of absolute brilliance here so far. We're shifting our mindset, Dave, as we take a look at the highlights on where Optic Gaming are for the day right now, going into a Game 2 Slayer. And when you talk about the series that we've seen throughout this year between Shopify and Optic, the times Optic lose the Slayers are the times Optic fall short of Shopify Rebellion. And knowing that Shopify now have that 1-game advantage, looking at Game 2 as an opportunity, as a appetizer for what this series is for them, Optic Gaming have got to refocus and reshift. What are you specifically looking at? Who are you specifically looking at for Optic to get right back on track and make this series an even keel?
I mean, stats don't tell the whole series, but it is incredibly rare where we saw our 2024 MVP start off 0-8.
Yeah.
So he needs to have a stronger start. In the end, his stats, totally fine. The work he was doing even early in the game was fine. Getting all the assists, just some things not falling in your way. But at the end of the day, if you're asking me to highlight one person or call out one person, you gotta say, Lqgend, where's the stats?
And I think if anyone's gonna step up in this game too for Optic Gaming, it is usually Lqgend that is nothing short of brilliance when you watch his point of view. It's gonna be Solitude, Slayer that these two get to duke it out on. There's a camo, there's a shock rifle. We saw plenty of those paired in the first game with the S7 and the camo, and you saw how much success Frosty was able to have. You saw Formal anchoring the tower with the same combination. Don't be surprised when these two teams at this high of a level, they drop those power weapons for their camo players, and when they do, they create opportunity and almost outright dictate how this game is gonna go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting into Game 2. And Optic find themselves down 0-1. Shopify gave them everything and honestly stole some of those hills away. But as this series continues, you can only best believe the bloodbath will continue as well.
Excited to see how both these teams decide to play it. I do think we're going to see a bit slower of gameplay at certain moments on this one. You have no choice but to, unless you want to try to force some action. Oh my God, Lqgend does want to force some action, just flying into the yard. He was dead to rights in a situation like that, but he wanted to put that pressure on.
That's a statement from Lqgend saying, you will not see me drop those stats again in this series. He finds himself the first pick of the match, 3-3. Trades across the board, shock rifle in the hands of LastShot, but I believe that camouflage is still gonna be up for now. Nobody able to go for it as the map continues to get split. Spawners coming across everywhere. You see LastShot kind of get surrounded. There's players truck flanking him, and there's a player posters in front of him. Because Renegade forces himself to be such a hard kill, Formal is able to pick up a couple of kills. With that, he's able to find this camo and the shock rifle, and already the power up and power weapon are paired together, and now it's Formal's chance to once again change the outcome of this series.
Yeah, that staying alive by Renegade was absurd.
Huh?
You think about, yeah, that also seemed like I should have hit. I'll give you a little credit there for him. Well, that one looked pretty good to me.
Look good to me, Coach.
I was gonna say, the fact that Renegade not only stayed alive on the stairs, but jumped up and avoided being seen during that time where LastShot was trying to throw a grenade there. It's just, the difference between these top teams isn't just the shots, it's how difficult of kill are you?
Yeah.
How much of a nuisance
How long
are
can
you
you
when
stay
you're being
alive?
taken down?
Formal with the shock. It's Optic with the pressure, 11-6. That was a beautiful push onto the back of Tram there as they were able to finish off every single one of those kills, only losing one member. 12-6 the lead. Camo's going to be erased from part of the equation right now, but Formal still with shock rifle in hand, forced to back up as he can't hit the headshot on the player snipe. There's players from driveway, loop, and a lot of pressure onto Optic here, but Formal gets into the mix, finds himself a kill, gets another player to no shield. Kills being traded out will benefit Optic here and now.
Yeah, and you feel like Shopify, they're overly committing here to try to take all these players over at yard and driveway because the shock rifle's there. That's out of ammo at this point. So all that time that they're chasing around Formal and trying to get that weapon back, Formal making effective use of it, getting a few picks here, laying down damage, and his team now with a 7-kill lead.
Yeah, Shopify wanted to push out that more successfully, but Optic do such a good job of trading the situation out. The teamwork is starting to show out for Optic early in this game too. 16-9, multiple players stuck in the back of blue. They're both knocked to no shield. Renegade head on a swivel, turns onto Royal 2 posters, gets that kill before getting traded out. 3 go down for Shopify as the second camouflage is coming up. Optic may have an opportunity to get map control. It's Lqgend finishing off Frosty, popping the camo, and can he stay alive is the question.
Yes, he does. Decides to revert back towards this driveway side. Now Lqgend's gonna have to try break behind the defenses here of Shopify. In fact, maybe not. Player's gonna just make a push towards you. That's gonna be the opening that Optic need to make their next charge, and here it comes.
Frosty with the jiggles, making him such a difficult kill. Lqgend loses a couple of teammates. That's the map control gone, and he's forced to trade with Frosty in that situation. 22-16, still Optic in favor, but you thought that that was going to be an opportunity to run away with the game, and Shopify starting to fight back.
100%. I mean, it felt like Optic were gifted the opening slay. They had the camo and they started the charge, but Shopify answered with a couple kills of their own on the opposite side of the map.
Kind of isolated Lqgend out there. He didn't really have an option. He was always going to get traded out. It was just a matter of does he get that kill on the Frosty. He is able to get that kill, and since then, Formal's found himself another shock rifle. A little bit of success with the first one. Let's see if he can have even more now that he knows where Shopify are, all stuck in the back of loop. There's a lot of map in front of Formal right now. If they can keep Shopify pinned down, that would be big, but as Formal relocates to bottom U-turn here, multiple members pushing top posters right now, and Formal gets back up to top snipe, and now he's got Cykul in front of him, but Frosty looking over, and Frosty knocked to no shield. Cykul still able to get a shield back, but Cykul gets the best of Formal, should be cleaned up by Lqgend. Lqgend trying to hunt. Cykul down, the repulse makes it a little bit more difficult, but finally Lqgend able to get that kill, and a much better start for Lqgend as he is 8-4-3 here in game 2. Optic benefiting from that heavily with a 30-19 scoreline.
Yeah, massive lead. I mean, we talked about highlighting Lqgend going to this one, but I think one of the people who's doing real amounts of work there is Renegade, getting 2 kills in your kill feed,
dead.
bringing them up to 14-5.
The MVP, Renegade, 14-3-5. Getting his team back into this series. part of a leadership quality is doing it yourself sometimes, and Renegade says, I'll do it myself. We'll hop on board with him, and he looks to be aggressive. All Shopify are top snipe. If he hits this left at the right time, he is going to find even more kills to his name. Frosty does try to turn, but it's a killing spree for Renegade as he outdoes Frosty once again here.
I mean, I'm having flashbacks to Halo 5 World Championships where you have Renegade on the Splice roster, flanking around over to Yard, hitting the likes of Frosty and Royal 2 from behind.
Renegade challenging the world right now, and Cykul brings him back down to earth with some shots of his own. Cykul trying to do what he can, but still a tough position right now. Down 15, making 14 kills. This is Optic's game to lose.
Cykul, though.
Camo could help.
It can help, but I don't know if it can help by 13 kills. It will make a dent, and it depends on what they can do if they can get Optic in some sort of spawn cycle, but you start to think of like Camo adding maybe 3 or 5 kills in a very good or very average time. 13 kills, completely different.
Cykul was actually getting hunted by Formal there. He actually does a phenomenal job to stay alive, relocates, and able to take down Formal, but in the meantime, he's still losing teammates. Members of Shopify are dropping across the map, creating this still 11-kill lead. This Camo, he's having success with it, but at the same time, Optic doing such a good job to trade kills out until now. 2 go down for Optic, the last 2 players forced into blue, and this is where they could get trapped. This is the moment Shopify could come back in this game.
Lqgend just being so patient, waiting for that player in the dip, spots Cykul right away, trades out the damage, but that's going to be Lqgend and Frosty going down. So every single time it seems like Shopify might have an open, might get a kill. Optic get a kill of their own and make it so Shopify can't get a 4v3 or a 4v2.
Yeah, I can't tell you how big of a kill Renegade got off screen there. And oh my God, LastShot not going down without a fight, gets a triple kill. Beautiful shots from LastShot up close and personal to make it a 7-kill game. And all of a sudden, Shopify's momentum starting to manifest into a comeback.
Just like that, you saw LastShot assuming they're going to spawn over near Hotel or something. Tries to position over near LR, does not work, and instead the Yard gets taken over, Royal 2 falls, LastShot falls, and that's just a great push from Optic immediately. No hesitation, push out, take over some new ground over at the Yard.
Yeah, if they hesitate there, LastShot probably continues to go on a spree, but such a good job from Optic. No, don't flinch, you go when it's time to go in Optic. Now reaching the 47 kill mark, 3 kills to go. Here comes a push from Shopify into Yard. It's free shots on the LastShot. It's free shots on the Cykul. Bound, the player that was called out so much yesterday to try and step up when these two play each other. Bound having a great start to this series as Optic will tie this series up. And they win the Slayer, the important games that have haunted them against Shopify. Optic find a way to get back into this series with those same games.
Not gonna lie, they looked so good during that Slayer game. I mean, I think that score, yes, it's not a stake or anything like that, but it's still a commanding score, 50-40. It felt like any time Shopify got something going on, did not work. It felt like Optic always had an answer, some sort of kill across the map, some sort of trap, or just some sort of brute force effort from someone like Renegade just to snag a kill.
Yeah, it's not some sort of effort. It's Renegade on the map doing things. 19 and 11. He's got 4 assists to pair with it, but those 19 kills gave everything to Optic, especially how quickly he was getting those kills earlier on. He kind of slowed down towards the end, but Renegade kept Optic comfortably in the lead to where as long as they continue their formula, continue to not get spawn trapped and locked into certain areas, they were able to get out, and Renegade, having so much success, keeps his team in this series to get to game 3 tied up.
Craziest part about Renegade's scoreline there is I don't recall him having shock rifle. I don't know how many, if any, camos that he had. That's just pure skill, running through the map, getting flanks, making things happen.
Route man gets paid, and Renegade with those flanks, with the shot. I mean, if anybody, if there's an argument to make for an MVP so far in Halo Infinite, it has got to be this man on screen. He has dominated for 4 years. Whether or not he's won or lost, it has not been on Renegade's account at any point in time. Renegade has hoisted so many MVP trophies, I feel, and that man is never to be counted out. And when his team needed him most in this series, he ties this series up for his team, and that's got to be something when you're a player like Bound, Lqgend, or Formal sitting next to him and seeing what he does hit his flow state. That's got to be a very comforting feeling as far as Saturday has gone for you. Not so well, but now Renegade gives them an opportunity to reset.
Yeah, when Renegade's on fire, there's really nothing else quite like it in Infinite. I don't see anyone else moving how he does. I don't see anyone else seeing the routes that he finds, the ways that he's able to get flanks, and then the fact that when he gets in one of those flanks or one of those 1v1s, you just know it's going his way.
Yeah.
You just know he's winning it.
He does not miss, and he is a difficult kill at all times, it seems. It is very difficult, even for the reigning champs in Shopify, to take this man down. If we want this series to go the distance, we're on a very good trajectory here, all tied up going into Game 3. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't wait to get Game 3 started. And I know these players both have some confidence going into Game 3, knowing that, hey, if you're Shopify, you won the objective, you lost the Slayer, you kind of get to shoulder that off. But now Optic finally, for what probably feels like the first time today, are like, we're here to play and win a championship.
Yeah, they were, and honestly, they were feeling looking good even throughout Game 1. There were so many moments there that they just got out positioned, like when Cykul took over that top center hill, when you had, there's just so many moments that Optic felt like they got stolen away from them. And despite Lqgend having a slow start in Game 1, it shows, hey, this is a marathon. This is a 5-game series, and this is also probably not the last time we see these two teams play each other this weekend.
I sure hope not, but now that they've matched each other in winner's bracket round 1, it's going to be a long road for whoever decides to go through that elimination.
Long road, one's taking the short path.
Yeah, absolutely. Recharge Stronghold's the name of the game for Game 3. Shock Rifle and Camo, once again, part of the equation. We saw Formal grab it early on and start to go to work in that Game 2, and you got to think, if you're Shopify, you got to start prioritizing these power-ups. They really dictated their early game in that Game 2, and I mean, it's tough to, if any of these 8 players get that weapon in their hand, they can really start to change the trajectory of this game. So if you're Shopify, what are you seeing from them? Who are you paying attention to the most to start prioritizing and positioning for that early control of the power-ups and power weapons?
I think if you're trying to prioritize maybe those power weapons, I think with the little series we saw from LastShot with the shock rifle there on the last map on Solitude, looked fantastic to me. I think the bigger thing for me that I need to see from Shopify is they need to be able to get an entry kill and then not throw a death or fall into an Optic trap right after.
Right.
I feel like there's a few times that we're seeing, and this is from both sides, but specifically from Shopify's side, is they'll get one kill, and then you'll instantly see that kill answered by someone from Optic, and it's not the person that was in the original engagement.
And on a game type like Strongholds, if you're able to stay alive after getting that first kill, it can snowball out of control, especially on a map like Recharge. If you get a trip cap, big things can happen. Big things are still happening on Renegade's screen. He's got the shock rifle in his hand, finds the third shot on the last shot, gets Frosty to no shield, but Frosty with the nade and the damage to follow, able to find not just Renegade, but takes down Lqgend as well. Formal does jump into C, but in the meantime, Shopify jump into B and A, so it's gonna be an early hold for Shopify here as the dust settles. Optic do have a 28-point lead, so nothing to stress over, but here's where the game kind of slows down, and how are Optic gonna break this?
Yeah, and I think Shopify happy to take that trade. They'll say, yeah, you can take C, we'll take the other 2 hills that are a little bit better. There's an entry kill there, or maybe I would argue an answered kill from Bound being taken out and Royal 2 kind of giving up an arguable more free death than what he normally would.
Yeah, Formal able actually to get that. He actually stuck Royal 2 off the ground. A god nade from the god himself, Formal, able to take down Royal 2 right off spawn. So he kills Royal 2 across catwalk, throws a predictive nade on the pipe door. It bounces off the ground, sticks to Royal 2's big toe, and Royal 2 hasn't played the game in 20 seconds because Formal has taken him out of it.
Yep, Royal 2 once again out by Formal. That's 3 in a row. He's being very mean, not letting his friend play the game.
But in the meantime, it's a trip cap momentarily for Shopify. A and B both being recaptured by Optic, so you think Optic are gonna be able to try and get some momentum off this, but I say that, and they are able to stall B out. They actually get beat into B. They get the reset with the help from Cykul, and there, 3 go down for Optic. This trip cap still exists. They do have a player in A. LastShot, late to rotate maybe, but giving up A in this situation, no harm, no foul. You got a 50-point lead and a BC control for Shopify.
And LastShot, knowing that he has to try to fight towards Needler or H-White, ends up at least getting the trade there, which is huge, and that's going to continue. Points on the board here for Shopify Rebellion.
Formal by himself here over at Elevator, forced to drop bottom middle. Royal 2 knocks him down to no shield. Royal 2 actually looks down above him, takes him out, and then Royal 2 give him Formal a little bit of his own medicine there as he takes him off the screen. 4 down for Optic. a brand new camo for Rule 2. Optic are going to split spawn, actually, in this situation. 2 players spawn towards elevator, and camo for Rule 2 approaching these players. He's actually going to choose to back up as Frosty goes down. I actually love this from him. Good discipline on not overextending with that camo.
I like it too, and I'm not sure if they recognize the split spawn or not, but either way, Royal 2 realizes in order to take over elevator, you need to have numbers. If they have already spawned, you're not going to outshoot 2 or 3 players unless you're doing something like that.
It's
Royal
paying
2
off.
Kill.
It's paying off. Can't get the over, but Royal 2, the patience, the discipline pays off. He's doing Royal 2 things. He says, it's my turn with Camo Shock, and he lights up the scoreboard for Shopify now. 131 and climbing to 26 from Optic.
Like that, trying to line up one more, feeling himself, and that's a 100-point lead there for Shopify. They're also not satisfied. They're pushing for the strip cap. I'm not sure if this is the right time as they lost Royal 2 and some players because they're essentially trading the C platform for elevator, and elevator is the better stronghold.
Well, what they're doing is they're creating split spawns continuously. Look, Bound by himself at elevator. The other 2 players from Optic spawn into pipes. They try to jump into B, but Royal 2 trades into B. Another player from Optic forced to jump into B. In the meantime, they're able to capture A. So not only are they consistently adding this pressure, they're forcing the numbers of Optic to be split across the map. They can't help each other, and all of a sudden, Optic on the ropes.
Got it working, creating the chaos, but now that they've lost some numbers, it's Optic's turn. They had 2 down, but just as I say that, 3 from Optic fall. Lqgend, the only one alive, they know where he's at. He's in the hill.
This is near perfect from Shopify. It's a killing spree from Cykul, everyone doing their part. As you take a look at the kills, all of Shopify, 9, 11, 10, 10, everybody doing their part. As we see individual pop-off moments, the pressure just too much for Optic. They finally feel like they're grouped for the first time, but it's a C hold, several players in that C stronghold to stop what is the trip cap bleeding, but is the damage already done, Dave? A 177 and climbing still.
Damage is done. I mean, even when Shopify lost a couple members there was just so much information. They had 3 players over at the C plat. That's so much info. And any way that they're going to push out of there is going to be tight confined quarters, whether they're going through control or whether they're going through gold.
Couple of members from Optic, not to no shield. Renegade tries to grapple all the way to bat ledge. That was ambitious. Cykul waiting for him to enter the window. All 4 go down for Optic again, even with the burn of the camo from Frosty. It's still Shopify reaping the benefits of the poor positioning Optic had to put themselves in order to deny that camo. The pipe door push is coming from Optic. Cykul uses that grapple he took from Renegade to get out of dodge. With the help of Royal 2, they're able to knock down not just one player from Optic, but another player to no shield. Cykul should know Lqgend is here, no shield. He does, and with that, opens the floodgates onto A. 3 down again for Optic.
Somehow, once again, they just make these incredible pushes. Basically, they'll know where there's so many players of Optic, and as you saw from that pipe engagement, Optic had numbers, but they felt funneled in even one by one. They're going to get double teamed, they're going to get grenaded, and they won those fights. Pushed on over, took elevator, and they just go back and forth. And at this point, it is just too tough here for Optic to come back. They have to play perfect, and they have to do it now, and they have to do it the rest of the game.
The pressure from Shopify has been too much. Bound and Formal both go down. A player tries to come across catwalk, and a trade will do everything for Shopify to win this game. 244, they're in C as well. Optic with no answer, Optic with no chance. And Shopify take back the series lead, 2-1.
Clinical by Shopify. Every decision they were doing, so well done. They were making the right rotations, taking the right fights, hitting all the important shots, keeping Optic staggered. One thing that was so impressive to me is that a lot of times when teams are pushing their advantage, like let's say that they have trip cap or they have 2 caps and they're going for that 3rd one, and they lose a member or 2, more often than not, you see the next 2 members fall, and you have these staggered spawns. Shopify, however, they lose 1 or 2 people, somehow hole up, get into strong positions, be over in pipes, be in difficult to kill spots, buy time to their teammates, and if anyone Optic overextended, they would get an answering kill of their own.
Yeah, that last control from Shopify lasted the last 5 minutes of that game. It was never Optic's opportunity to get back into it. It was always Optic on the ropes. Optic on the ropes, they could not figure out a way to break what was the relentless pressure from Shopify. And what a response after game 2. They said, Greenwall, you didn't invite me to the barbecue, hurt my feelings, and came back and dominated game 3.
But if we know anything about Optic, you can never count them out of a series.
No. Fans.
Undoubtedly. Doesn't matter if the game was won by one hill, like in game number 1, or right here, a dominating fashion around 250 to 50.
Royal
Optic,
2.
you can never count out.
Royal 2. Hadn't seen much of his point of view so far throughout this series. We get a glimpse of him. Chance with the power-up, power weapon, and I mean, he's been doing this for 15 years now.
Doing just another check-in here with Royal 2, and yep, still goated, still insane.
Still cooking heads. But like you said, Dave, 2-1, even after that dominant Strongholds performance, this series, this Halo, still far from over. A lot of Halo left to be played here as we see these two teams match up so often. And so often do we see it go the distance. Game 5 on the horizon after a neutral bomb Aquarius. And when these two teams match up, I feel like I always favor Shopify when it comes to Assault, but now it feels like with just Aqua Bomb being part of the equation, Optic have got to be a lot more confident. I feel like on Fortress, they always fell short to Shopify, so they are very happy to see that Aquarius neutral bomb is the name of the game and not a Fortress coming up. And Shopify have to know they have to keep their foot on the pedal the entire time because they do not want this to be decided by a Slayer, which we saw them previously lose already in this series.
Taking a quick look at both their records here on Bomb.
Who's the bomb?
11-3 for Shopify, 8-3 here for Optic.
Just 0.1 more average points.
Now, the only thing I can say in defense of Rebellion here as we go into this game 4 is the game 2 they lost. I felt like there was just a lot of disorganization, mainly chaos caused by Renegade.
Yeah.
Just getting behind enemy lines, shooting people aside, winning all these one-on-ones. Aquarius, yes, you can be sneaky. Yes, you can do certain things, but not as much as you can on something like Solitude or many of these other maps or Lattice. Here on Aquarius, people know the routes at this point. It's going to be at some point some guessing game. All right, did they go back to their side bomb center? Did they go towards bottom pink or whatever it is when you're chasing someone down who's weak? But Renegade, he's probably not going to be afforded that exact same luxury of all the same sort of flanks, which was very successful in game number 2.
Maybe Renegade doesn't benefit from that, but does Optic benefit from the idea that the S7, the shock rifle, removed from this equation? Finally, we get a map where it's bandits out and let's gun up. Right now, it's Bound getting the advantage of that gun up, finds himself a double, and I feel like Bound is one of those players on bandit-only maps that can be a real nuisance to deal with. He's already setting the tone for Optic. A great response after a Game 3 poor performance from all of Optic to get back into this, and Renegade found himself the camo, found himself LastShot with his back turned, and that's got to benefit Optic for early control of the map.
Yeah, Renegade has to know that bomb was a little bit of a trap, not too worried about it. Somehow beating about 3 or 4 grenades there. I wonder if he was still on a death screen, or I wonder if they just were predicting where Renegade would go.
Formal trying to inch this bomb into the engine of Shopify Rebellion. Frosty was in the top hall, but he gets taken down right now. And Formal wants to be the first one to push into the space. He knows multiple members are going to be back here. It's actually 3 Shopify members that need to get flushed out before they can even move this bomb into the base.
Yeah, it's not even a multiple. He knows they're all there.
Yeah.
Bound is blocking Fridge. We're going to have to see if that pays off, though. Because right now they have them all trapped in the base, but at the same time, that means you have to clear them out of the base.
A couple of members actually left through the pink side. One overextended to the car, you see, but Formal getting a couple of kills. 3 go down. One player does spawn in the back flank. It's World 2. He gets taken down immediately. LastShot is the player to watch right now as he takes down the bomb. And actually the bomb resets. Players spawn in the engine because LastShot's route gets his team a buddy spawn into the engine. As the bomb resets, it erases any chance Optic had.
That was huge for Rebellion. Right now, they're not worried about getting full map control. They were on defense mode saying, we need to stop this next arm. This next round of Slays, if we lose this fight, Optic armor in the bomb.
And they bought enough time to where that bomb was neutralized, right? Like Formal was the bomb guy. He had to push in first. Nobody else touches that bomb. Because of that, it resets. But not only that, but LastShot's route had to be incredible for him to not only get a kill, but buy enough time for that bomb to reset as well. LastShot continuing to do LastShot things. In the base now of Optic Gaming, 3 down, last guy alive, Formal, LastShot doesn't miss. His last shot will take down Formal, clear out the base. Renegade does get a Jin spawn here. The rest are going to be spawning pink. It's a split spawn. Is Renegade able to actually get a kill on the Frosty? That's going to delay some of the pressure, but LastShot still on an absolute terror in Optic's base. He's got information that Formal's in the back of the base. He's no shield. Cykul looks over the shoulder of Roll 2, takes him down. Roll 2 arms the bomb, and then Shopify gaining an early lead. With 9 minutes left, Shopify take that lead, and it's not often we see a bomb arm this early in the game, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the slays, especially over the top right, you basically see we're even across the board. In fact, maybe outslayed by 2 or 1 kill in favor of Optic. But when Shopify got their kills, they got that second round of slays, which were so crucial inside the Optic base. That was the one round of slays that Optic missed the previous attack.
The objective efficiency from Shopify truly showing out here as they get that 1-0 lead. And Frosty, in the meantime, has found himself the camera. Renegade getting shot from the back and the front. He gets removed from the map. Formal front the base. That's 2 going down for Optic Gaming. Frosty in a fight with Bound. Now they know he has this camera. There's going to be a couple of players from Shopify front the base. Bound trying to hunt down Frosty, but Frosty just playing so perfectly in this situation. Trigger discipline, making sure his camo comes all the way back to make it a difficult situation for Bound. Takes him out, relocates to the gym, found himself Legend as well. And finally, that camo does get removed. Not a ton of actual objective work done there. 3 go down for Shopify and Optic, even though Frosty looked like he was making phenomenal plays there. Find themselves on their back feet on respawn. Now Optic need 1 round of slays before they can tie this game up.
Formal, bring this bomb in, just putting the pressure on, letting them know, hey, your lives depend on this one right here. If you do not beat us in this fight, Optic are arming this bomb. If they send too many resources towards Pink and Fridge, they are arming the bomb. They have to decide how to play this carefully, and a 1v1 trade there is actually going to go in the favor of Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, but Optic get 2 down themselves. 1 player spotted in the pink corner. There's got to be 1 player from Shopify playing defense in the flag, but look at the reinforcements. As Bound goes into the pink corner, they're going to spawn on the flag. That is where Optic don't want Shopify to be, but Bound has to make a play now. He's got to sandwich these players that are stuck on the flag. It's actually a double, make it a double from Renegade, all 4 down for Shopify, and this is surely an arm for Optic. A perfect sandwich collapse from Optic Gaming will tie this game up. You think the nation just not good enough from Shopify coming off spawn, and yes, Optic will get that point to tie this game up.
Got ourselves that tie game, and I almost wondered, was there a spawn in the back of the flag there? I couldn't tell where all the shots came from. So that was just also very fortunate timing there as Optic were clearing out of the base to make sure they can get this next round of slays. They actually forced 1 spawn in the back of Shopify, and they could not react fast enough, but that could have been disastrous.
You think the bomb arm would be an opportunity to reset the map for Shopify, but they go all 4 down. Bound finds the camo. He's also challenged with moving this bomb forward, but you know he wants to be aggressive, so he's going to drop that bomb. Spots Roll 2, finishes him off. Good communication and teamwork. Good angles from Optic here. It's Bound finding himself yet another assist. There's 1 player alive. It's Cykul, and they know where he is. That bomb moving in front of the base, but you don't want to do that when you have camo. You want to be aggressive. You want to be part of the action. Cykul gets spotted out, actually reveals Bound who has this camo, and are they able to take advantage of that reveal from the sensor? I don't think so. The bomb's still neutralized though.
Yeah, these other members from Optic are put in a difficult spot. Right now, Bound is hoping that somebody else comes down towards the bomb and pushes it forward. But nobody else from Optic wanted to take that lower position because they saw Bound down there already. And so Bound had to either completely keep moving that bomb or abandon that position.
And you got to wonder if he could go back, would he just start moving that bomb into the window, and potentially how would they benefit if they just left Cykul car side of the map? Didn't work out for Optic, and now Optic on their back heels once again stuck in the back of their base, similar to what we saw from Shopify. They have control of the fridge, they have control of the engine, and it's going to be a collapse from Shopify. Who gets the kills? Frosty's the first one to go down. That's big to release some of this pressure for Optic, but the rest of Optic still have work to do to flush these players out from their side of the map.
Yeah, LastShot still being a nuisance over in the gen. You now have Royal 2 and LastShot there. This 2v2 coming up. They're going to push this numbers. They know that 2 down are from there, 2 down from Optic. They want to put this pressure on and see if they can force the fridge spawns and get the bomb in the base.
Yeah, Frosty looking over from top middle. He actually gets his head ripped off. Beautiful shots from Legend to be able to get that kill before Frosty can cut that sight line off. And with that kill, that removes that lane, that window of opportunity that Shopify were really relying on the damage to come through for those gen players. As I say that, Roll 2 also goes down. LastShot goes down. Frosty's coming off respawn. Where did he spawn? It's got to be pink side of the base. LastShot, or Frosty finally gets taken down and took a route car 1, I guess. This bomb, so close to going into the flag, but the back flag spawns that Optic know already have occurred will stop them from moving this bomb in until another round of slays.
That was
what
so
a play.
well done by Legend. so sneaky over in the util. On top of that, relieving the pressure from his base, bringing this across.
Oh!
Almost gets the fish on Frosty, the last one alive. Frosty stopping an arm.
I can't stress how important that kill from Frosty on the Legend was. He will delay what is Optic's control right now. Everybody from Shopify rewarded with an opportunity to respawn and defend their base once again because Frosty gets that kill on the Legend.
And there's a couple other picks, 2 apiece. But it seems like Optic have a little bit more presence across the map. 2 are pushed on over towards the car side. Frosty trying to change that.
Yeah, the camo is up, and you see how bad multiple members of Optic want to go for it, but they're forced back down the car, but none of them get taken down. The shield recharge from Optic, everyone bait and switching perfectly there, Dave.
That was insane by Formal and Legend. As soon as one started to get some shield back, they were the tank. The other person was buying some time, baiting and switching. That was brilliant by those 2 to stay alive for so long. That's what led to that 3 dead.
It's 2 players from Shopify make it 3, spawn in the back of the base. Where does Royal 2 spawn? He's going to spawn out in the fridge. If they're able to isolate Royal 2, don't be surprised when Optic Gaming perform the same level of strategy they did the first time around. They get that kill, but they lose Formal. There's 2 players defending the pink door this time around from Shopify, but an Abe will come through. Cykul gets backed up. Cykul gets knocked to no shield. Is there anyone from Optic coming from the gen? It's going to be Legend. He's a little late as he comes off respawn, but Cykul's noted in the window to be no shield. All of Shopify stuck like fish in a barrel. Bound, knocking everyone down to no shield. The bomb still front the base. He's pinging it. Someone get the damn bomb in the base.
Doing everything there, and that was such a perfect last-second touch on the bomb. But I'm surprised this didn't go progress any further.
Yeah.
They had all the kills, they had the position, they had the bomb in front of the base, but players from Optic were confused on who's on the objective, who's doing what, and all of a sudden, Bound's the last one alive.
3 dead for Optic or Shopify still. Bound and Legend still alive. The bomb still in Shopify's window. It may reset due to time right now as Shopify spawn up. They spawn on the pink side of the map. One is going to have opted to go to the pink too. Bomb actually resets. Thanks Steitzer for that one as Bound finds a killing spree and gets back control of the fridge of Shopify Rebellion.
Now I'm looking over at the slays. Optic outslaying heavily now. Formal going +10, Bound +7, Renegade +5. But keep in mind, it's an objective game. All these slays, as you saw during that last round, didn't translate into a bomb arm. If they can't do that, all Shopify need is just their one opportunity. They just need to outslay for 30 or 60 seconds and get their one arm.
I mean, Bound clears out Optic's base again, sees the bomb bottom middle, and has got to be saying it again. Someone get the damn bomb. They have outslayed Shopify so heavily for what feels like the last 3 minutes and have nothing to show from it. The game remains tied. 2 minutes on the clock. Camo is up, and you can best believe the next arm is going to put so much pressure on the other team. Holy!
Ow.
Good God, Legend, that stick was disgusting.
Hits him with a slow ball. Not too happy about the trajectory of his jump as he saw that blue plasma ball flying his way. Renegade moving this bomb in. They do only have 1 kill, but this pressure is being felt.
Information on 3 players. Renegade did damage to all 3. Frosty in the window, challenging Legend, backing Legend up as 2 members of Optic go down. Shopify release what feels like have been the past 5 minutes of pressure. Finally, Shopify with the bomb in hands get into the enemy gen right now. Optic, they start to slow play. Look how slow
they're saying, all right, we're now in defense, and they realize what's at stake here. If they lose this next round of slays, bombs being armed, and there's only 1 minute left on the clock. The Optic need to get these kills. They need to stay alive. There's 2 players weak over here on the BR. Can they stay alive? That's going to be 2 falling down. There's Renegade and Formal, both taken out. You know that bomb's moving in. That Cykul arming this bomb. Shopify Rebellion did not have control for the last 5 minutes. They get it for 45 seconds, and they arm the bomb.
The efficiency, how slow the game turned down, and pressure bursts pipes, or it makes diamonds, and diamonds are what Shopify are creating right now. They are headed to winner's bracket round 2 if they're able to close this game out. A minute left on the clock. Optic scrambling across the pink side of the map. Cykul on the prowl right now. The bomb in LastShot's hand, and he's in their base. They overextended. They didn't know. LastShot forced to drop it as Renegade jumps up, but multiple members are here, and all 4 down for Optic. Shopify Rebellion get the 3rd arm before the time goes out, and that'll do it. They once again knock Optic Gaming to the elimination bracket. Shopify Rebellion in 4 games this time get the job done, and they scratch their shoulders off. The dust is off, and they say, We love to see Optic in round 1 because we always beat them there.
They just made that look clinical in game number 4. I mean, the most surprising part is Optic. They had this lane. They had things going on. Just a couple missed objective opportunities. And it felt like they either need somebody to like just start running that, either somebody being committed to it, or they're going to go back to the drawing board. You know they're kicking themselves in that game number 4.
Yeah.
They had all the slays in the world, and it could not translate to an arm. Shopify get 1 round of slays at the base. They get the arm instantly. In fact, they get a second arm right after it.
Yeah, before we talk about the brilliance of Rebellion, I do want to say, if Optic goes back and thinks about this series, they'll be kicking themselves for several different games. Game 1, several different hills slip out of their control. So close, they lose that game by margins, very small margins. And then you go to this game, what feels like was predominantly controlled by Optic. They outslayed
Everyone
Shopify
positive on Optic.
several different times. It felt like they got multiple wipes without being able to get the bomb physically into the base to be able to arm it. The name of the game is neutral bomb, for God's sake. You need the bomb in order to score points. But Optic weren't able to do it. Maybe that's testimony to Shopify Rebellion's defense, but it only took Shopify 1 clean wipe each time they got that arm, and even the third one, I mean, that was just Optic trying to scramble for some kind of level of success there at the end. So if you're looking at this series, Optic fans and the team can actually keep their heads up and be like, all right, we've been here before, we've gone through the elimination bracket, we've proven we can do this, and we're a lot better than that. Very few mistakes costed us an opportunity to go through the winners bracket this time around, but Shopify, they've got to be pretty happy with the results.
They're
from what just
happy,
occurred.
but also it's got to be a little unnerving seeing what Optic can do in that neutral game. That was uncomfortable for them in like that, whatever, 10 to 4 minute mark where they're just getting outslayed over and over again. I always talk about the game in those few snapshots. Worst case scenario, neutral game, best case scenario.
Right.
That neutral game, all Optic, all
All
day.
Optic.
They were destroying that on Aquarius bomb. But when it came to the worst case scenario, Shopify, they turtled up. They knew how to hold up. They knew how to play defense. They stopped all those aggressive pushes from Optic and stopped those overslaying periods from being bomb arms.
Yeah.
And then when it came to best case scenario, similar for Shopify. They got control and they made quick work of it. They'd get control for 30 seconds, get 1 round of slays, get the bomb arm.
Yeah, it was beautiful to watch how efficient they were with that objective, because not often do you see a team that strong at neutral bomb, especially playing the likes of Optic. From Optic, it was a little bit more sloppy, to your point. You think they played so well, but got so little from playing so well, and that's going to be something that they go back to the drawing board and they look at. But as we move forward, it's going to be a long road for Optic. What do you have to say to the green wall out there that's listening to give them a little bit of hope that they can go on this run again?
I mean, they've done it before. They can do it again. They put themselves in these rough positions. I've really never seen a team like this. A team that's so strong, that has a few stumbles every event, and then still rolls back and wins tournaments. Still has won 2 out of 3 events. So I'm not too worried here for Optic, but it's still just not the comfortability you're expecting of this team who's projected to be the best team in the world.
I can guarantee their confidence isn't shaken and that we will see more of Optic, and maybe even Shopify will see more of Optic later in this tournament, but I can also guarantee whose confidence isn't waived. It's Royal 2 on the main stage with an interview from Guy Blaze.